Welcome to This Week in Hell. I'm Professor Bond Ruggles, and on This Week in Hell, we have our first installment of our historical movie review. This time, we're going to start with one of my all-time favorite movies. Many of you have probably already seen it, but you might not have any idea on how awesomely historically accurate it is. This movie is called Harriet, and it's about none other than Harriet Tubman, also known as Araminta. This movie is so exceptionally well done. A lot of Harriet's dialogue comes straight out of her own writings and our archival sources. The movie is accurate not just historically, but accurate in representation. There are many little hidden symbols within this movie that allow historians like myself to teach it to their students or their employees, or to all of you out there in Never Never Land, that this movie is not just historical because of the facts it lays out and how accurately it does that, because it also deals with stereotypes and other things. So if you haven't seen Harriet yet, I strongly suggest you do. I think by now I may have watched it 5 different times. Not all of it is 100% true, but a lot of it is. And there are some real gems in there. And you learn just amazingly how of an amazing woman Harriet Tubman actually was. This is a woman who traveled tens of thousands of miles over the course of her life on the Underground Railroad, depicted in the movie. She suffers from epilepsy because of an accident that happened to her when she was a child. She was trying to protect a young boy, and a store owner threw an iron at her head. Now that might sound a little weird to us today when we think about irons, but you have to remember that the original irons were literally an iron shaped, and they were made of iron. They were big and heavy. They heated them up on fireplaces or on a hot stove, and then they used that to iron the clothes. Definitely not the kind of weapon you would want to get hit in the head with, and it caused a lot of pain and lifelong challenges for Harriet, including epilepsy. Now, the history of epilepsy is best saved for another video, but let's just say, while the U.S. looks at that as a disability, there are many other cultures that look at that as those people have a direct line to communicate with their gods and spirits. So perhaps her visions, the premonitions that she had, may have been from her epilepsy. She may have just been a very gifted woman, all of which is portrayed in the movie. There's some other really interesting stereotypes as well, that if you're familiar with U.S. 19th century history, or even racial stereotype history, you will be able to spot them. I would love to hear what all of you thought about the movie Harriet, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to address them in a future This Week in Hell. For now, if you haven't seen it, go watch it and see if you can pick up on the messages that are hidden, along with all the really amazing factual stuff that is present accurately. Thanks so much for joining me on This Week in Hell and for our first installment of historical movie reviews. See you all next time.